Hi, Periscopers. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, guys. Sorry this topic is not super cheery like I normally like to be, but it's important to talk about, so I just had to do a couple of periscopes about sort of the negative side of relationships because it's life and we just need to help support each other. Hi, honey. Thanks for joining. Hi, Tracy, and a lot of my other periscopers. The names are sort of going really fast right now. But hey, thanks for the hearts and keep giving me hearts. I love the hearts. I see purple ones and a few pinks, so blue, some red. Awesome, guys. The more hearts, the better. So, y'all, I'm Trina Titus Lozano. I'm watching with Trey and my love. Oh, that's so precious. I don't know if they're going to like this topic, though, to be honest, Wendy. But it's just not as positive and peppy and cheery. Last night was so much fun with baking pies at my mom's house, and that was a really fun Periscope. But tonight, I am just continuing with what I was talking about earlier today at noon. So don't know if you saw that or if you were able to catch the replay. But it's sort of the downside and the tough side of counseling. My name is Trina Titus Lozano. I'm a counselor and an ordained Christian minister. And sometimes I have to deal with really tough topics in my office and with my clients. And so I figured, when it's really heavy on my heart, and I know a lot of people are dealing with stuff, and especially around the holidays, things come out and stuff. Oh, good. And things come out, and it's not as easy as you wish it would be. So I'm showing you all of these things because I love to Periscope about home and family and hospitality and relationships and loving relationships and all these kinds of things. But the reality is a lot of people are in very unhealthy, abusive relationships. So catch my replay and be sure that you educate yourself a little bit on things that I was talking about at noon today about an abusive relationship. So today at noon, my mom was saying as she was listening to the replay, it seemed like I was sort of heavy on the fact that 80% of the time men are the abusers, but I did give a statistic that 20% of the time women are the abusers. And it looks a little bit different when women are the abusers. Oftentimes women's, there's the same signs, but they often look very different. And women and men are different, so our personalities are different. But this isn't about personalities. This is about control. Okay, this is about someone who is very fear-based. They're very control-based. They're very, very manipulative in the relationship. And there are so many signs of it being a very unhealthy relationship. I'm just going to review really quickly today some of the signs, but I want you to replay the noon episode to get some of the signs of an abuser. Okay, they'll push for quick involvement. They're jealous, controlling, unrealistic expectations, isolation. They'll want to take you away from your support system. And they'll want you to cut ties with your friends and family, okay? They'll blame, constantly blaming others. They won't take responsibility. They will not see their own opportunity for growth. They will just be blaming you. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Amanda. They'll have a hypersensitivity. They have no problem not caring, being cruel to kids, cruel to people, cruel to animals. They just don't have a problem with this I don't care attitude. And they portray that quite a bit. And they can be very rude, very mean. Sometimes they can be very aggressive. Sometimes they can be passive aggressive, but they will say mean things. There will be always verbal abuse that goes along with all of this. They'll have sudden mood swings from very happy to very angry and even violence. There will be past battering with other relationships that they've been in, and they will always have some sort of threats of violence. And then they'll say things like, "Oh, I want to kill myself," or "I want to kill you," or "This makes me so angry, I just want to choke you to death." Things like that, like really violent statements. And then when you call them out on it, they might say things like, "Oh, everybody says that. I was just kidding." But everybody doesn't say that, and that's not something that you kid about. So these are just signs of an abuse of people that are in abusive relationships. If you know somebody that is in an abusive relationship, I want you to be their support system. Or if you know somebody that is an abuser, there are, you need to be able to talk about it with them and help them to see what's going on, because there is help. People, there's all sorts of ranges. Some people are just mildly abusive, with just some bad habits here and there that need some adjustments. Other people are truly violent. I was on Dr. Phil last summer with a good friend of mine whose husband was very violent with her and with the kids. And so he had so convinced her that he was that way because of the way that she was, that she didn't realize right away that she was being abused, until I was able to help her to understand that no, that's not normal. Men don't hit their wives. Men don't spank their wives. These are things that were not normal. They're criminal and they're wrong and they're abusive. So you have to really be able to talk to people about that. Now, what I'm talking about tonight, is the way that somehow women can be very abusive to men. So it's a little bit different. But if a woman is, if you're a man and you're listening, or if you're a woman and you know another woman that's like this, what they'll be is, it's like they'll argue with their husband, like literally constant arguing. And it's like she'll push you out the door and then blame you for leaving. That kind of thing. So there's this manipulation, there's this control. Here's some other signs. They'll also be very scheming. They'll use a lot of sentences like shoulds. You should show me respect. You should meet my needs. You should make me happy. You should. Because anytime really people are constantly saying you should, it really makes people feel hopeless, because should is something that happened in the past and we can't go back and change that. So it's much better if a healthy person would say, in the future, it'd be really great if you could, let me know, that kind of a thing. But they'll use the should all the time. And when they do it, they're doing it with the intention to make you feel bad. They're doing it with the intention to manipulate you, to make you responsible for their happiness, to make you responsible to meet all of their needs, when really that's a desire that they'll meet your needs, and it's a goal that they are supposed to be in charge of their own emotional health. Excuse me. Oh, did you see that? Okay, good. Yeah. Yes, should is accusatory and it's rude and it's wrong. It's uncaring. It's not love. Love doesn't do that. Okay, when a woman is screaming and yelling often, that's abusive. When they're name calling, humiliating, they're cruel, that's abuse. Okay? Excuse me, I'm like choking tonight. When a woman is very sarcastic, she's cutting. She uses her words to cut, to be rude, to be mean, to imply you aren't what I wish you were. You aren't what I want you to be. So therefore, I have no problem wounding you with my words. Women can be very, very cruel with their words. And men too, by the way. Everything goes both ways. But at noon today, I think I was talking a little bit more about how men are abusive. So be sure to catch that replay, because it goes both ways, y'all. Women are abusive to men. Men are abusive to women. Well, and it's not just in couples. It can be women to women and men to men in parent-child relationships, in in-law relationship, even in all kinds of relationships. Bosses to employers, employers to employees, whatever, any of that stuff, even neighbors, but when people are cruel and abusive, remember, it's up to me to be sure that I'm in a safe environment. So as an adult, I need to protect myself and my children, okay, to be sure that if someone is truly an abuser, and I'm not just talking about a bad personality, I mean a manipulative, mean, cruel person, day in and day out. And this is someone who says that they love you, or they claim to love you, but they're controlling, and they don't trust you, and they're mean, and they're rude, and they're cruel, and they're manipulative, and they're either aggressive or passive aggressive. This is not good. So y'all need help. So either take the personal responsibility to get out of the relationship, if it's a dating relationship, or if it's a relationship that you can put a boundary on, if it's a marriage relationship, get help, get counseling. If you need to go to a safe house, if you need to go to a shelter, do that. Call the police, call 911 if someone is being violent. Do whatever you have to do, because you've got to take personal responsibility for your own safety and personal responsibility for your own emotional health, personal responsibility to be in loving, healthy, committed relationships. And if someone is abusing you, not just an isolated incident of someone being in a bad mood or someone being rude, but I'm talking someone who's constantly mean. That's a problem. When someone is constantly not caring, but they give themselves permission to be mean and rude, it's a problem. I'm manipulative and controlling. Hey, thanks for the hearts. I saw some brown hearts. I really appreciate that. Keep them coming, y'all. Okay, a few more signs of an abuser. Explain what to do if the abuser says, I will kill you, and the kids, if you do, call 911 immediately. Keep things calm. And as soon as you can escape, you have to get out. So, but you can call 911 immediately. You can go to a neighbor. You can do anything like that. I had someone in my office not long ago that was the case. And I just told her, okay, we've got to get an exit plan. And I said, where are your kids right now? She said, at home with my husband. I'm like, okay, your young kids are at home with your abusive husband. That's not good, because if he's abusing you and he's saying things like, if you do that, I'm going to kill you and the kids. Then what's he doing to them while you're not here? I mean, while you're here, while you're not there. So y'all, you have to take this seriously, because hurting people hurt people. In the world that we live in today, there's really a whole lot of really hurting people. Okay. Oh yeah, it's so true. Jesus can heal all of these things. I mean, I've seen people who are in very bad situations, can make complete turnaround. I mean, complete. But get out of the dangerous situation until the turnaround has happened. When that turnaround has happened, y'all, there are so many obvious signs. I'm talking the person is repentant. They are remorseful. For there to be repentance, it means that they take full responsibility. That's right, for their choices. They take the responsibility. There is regret. There is remorse. There is repair. And there's a repeat never. So you have to let a lot of time go by to be sure that all of those components of repentance are real and are really in place before you put yourself and your kids in a risky position of getting back in an unhealthy relationship. Okay. Oftentimes, manipulators will say things like, if you don't respond to my generosity by doing what I want you to do, you are ungrateful. I had one client, and her husband was very, very, very wealthy. And he showered her with all kinds of very expensive things. Cars, vacations, Louis Vuitton, everything. Expensive purses, expensive luggage, expensive perfumes, everything. But you know what? It was all manipulation, because he would say, you're not grateful. You're not grateful for one thing I give you. You know what? She never asked for any of those things. And she was grateful for it, but she didn't want everything to come with strings attached. But all the strings were always attached. Always. And then he blamed her and manipulated her too, so he could stay in control. Always. Sometimes she would want to go shopping and choose things for herself. And then he would get angry and he would say, you have to use your own money. You know, that's control. It's manipulation. It's abuse. Not okay. Not okay. That's not love. Love doesn't act that way. Okay. Okay. Passive aggressive manipulation might look like this. The silent treatment. Okay, y'all. That is not okay. People that love each other, they're going to be willing to communicate, okay? And they're going to push through where they can communicate properly and openly and honestly, but not give the silent treatment. I mean, put the wall up, and in this passive-aggressive way, you just refuse to talk. It's rude, it's cruel, and it's not okay. The silent treatment. Door slamming, banging things around. If you don't meet my expectation, I'll make my point in other ways. So slamming doors, hanging up on phone conversations. Even if the communication feels awkward, it's better than silence. That's right, Rhonda. The silent treatment is different than just being quiet or than just taking some time. If you're just being quiet or just taking some time, you just say, you know what? I feel like my emotions are a little bit out of control, and I just need a minute to just pull my thoughts together, and I promise that tonight before we go to bed, we're going to revisit this conversation. That is very different than the silent treatment. The silent treatment is mean, and it's rude, okay? Okay, raising your eyebrows, rolling your eyes, making rude comments, the sizable sigh like, ugh, or like, ugh, anything like this, just like mean looks, or suppressed support, withholding compliments, withholding gifts, withholding affection, withholding sex, withholding, now this is if you're married. So women will use this to manipulate. Again, right now, this Periscope is mostly talking about women abusers, women manipulators. They imply if you don't meet my standards, if you don't give me what I want, I'm not giving you what you want. So it's always this tit for tat. And love doesn't do that because love is sacrificial. Okay. So this, sometimes they'll strategically stall. They'll be late on purpose. Or they'll forget things intentionally and then blame you and not take the responsibility. Okay. Okay. Manipulators will always, try to make you feel guilty. They will attempt to withholding compliments in our group today. Ooh, interesting. That's very interesting. Try to make you feel guilty, get others to believe what they want them to believe. They'll keep others hooked into the relationship, even when the relationship is unhealthy and one-sided. They'll avoid meeting obligations. They'll refuse, like literally refuse to give anything. I mean, they will just shut down and say, I'm not giving anything to you. You deserve nothing. And you know, that's not what love does. Love gives, even if you're not getting, okay? But manipulators don't do that, okay? So sometimes the manipulation, the identity is misplaced in the manipulator. In other words, you give me meaning and purpose to my life, and I need your approval for my significance. Y'all, no, that's not right. I don't need approval from anybody. I don't need approval from anybody. I get it straight from God. I know that for my relationship with Jesus, I am loved, significant, and secure. I know my Creator, and I don't need your approval. If you are being rude to me, mean to me, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm just going to have to leave, and then if you change someday, I'll be back. But right now, I don't need your approval, and I'm not okay with you treating me this way. It's mean, it's rude, it's cruel, and you know what? I have to draw the boundary because I'm not dealing with this. It's not right. So whatever you have to do, sometimes the boundary is really extreme, like it ends up being like people end up having to get a divorce. Or it could be something like just, you know, I'm gonna pack up the suitcase, I'm gonna go to my mom's, and I'll be back when you figure out how you can handle yourself better. Hi, come on in. You can go this way. Okay. But oftentimes, you guys, it'll be a fear of disapproval that will cause people to behave this way. So usually it's fear of rejection, ultimately. Fear of like, I want to beat you to the punch. Like, I'm afraid that you're going to reject me, so instead I'll reject you. You know, these things. But this is unhealthy behavior. So if you're in a relationship with a controller, with a manipulator, with someone who is cruel and mean, and when I say cruel and mean, I mean really mean and really cruel on a regular basis. Y'all, be sure that you hold on to hope. I want you to hold on to hope. I don't want you to give up on people, but you must hold a standard. If you're in a relationship that's supposed to be a loving relationship, hold the standard to be sure that you are treated the way that you should be treated. And then also you can treat them with the same respect that you want them to treat you with. And as you model that behavior to them, oftentimes they will make a turnaround. Or if you just tell them, you know, I'm going to counseling and you need to too, but if you're not going to, at least I'm going to. So you do whatever it takes to get things started to be turning around. Okay, so at least if they're not going to change their behavior immediately, you could change your response to the unhealthy patterns in the relationship, okay? So men, if you're in a relationship with an abusive woman, listen, y'all, it's not okay. It's not okay. So you need to lovingly tell her it's not okay. And women, if you are in a relationship with an abusive man, you need to lovingly tell them, it's not okay with me. It's going to either be a healthy relationship or no relationship at all, because this isn't okay. So we got to either get better or we're going to have to call it quits, but I cannot allow myself to be abused. So that is an awkward topic, I know, and I hate to have to bring it up. I would much rather talk about cheery, peppy, fun things, but it is a reality that lots of people are in unhealthy relationships. I want them to recognize it, and I do want them to get help. Sean put his foot down and said to me, I can't control what comes out of your mouth, but oh, wow, good. You know, Wendy, you guys have come so far, and I love the fact that you guys have restored your marriage and restored your life because you've just come so far. People can be helped. People can change. But listen, everything cannot be fixed. Not if everyone's not cooperating, okay? So y'all, thanks for Periscoping with me. Rhonda, it was great seeing you on my Periscope tonight. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of the night. I'll be back at noon and 9 tomorrow. If you'd like to check my other Periscopes out, you can check out my website, TrinaTitusLozano.com. And there's all kinds of Periscopes on emotional health and home and family and hospitality and things like that. But God bless you guys. Have a great rest of the night, and I will see you at noon and 9 Central Standard Time tomorrow. Thanks, Wendy. I really appreciate that. God bless you. Bye, Kim. Thanks for Periscoping.